Hello everyone! We often talk about air pollution, but have you ever stopped to think about the invisible threats lurking within it? Today, we're focusing on two gases you might not see, but definitely don't want to ignore: nitric oxide, NO, and nitrogen dioxide, NO₂. These gases, often found together, can pose serious risks to our health and the environment. Whether you work in an industrial setting, spend time in traffic-heavy areas, or are simply concerned about air quality, understanding NO and NO₂ is essential. So stick with me as we unravel the mysteries of these gases and explore how to stay safe in their presence. Let's start with nitric oxide, or NO. Imagine it as the quieter, less noticeable sibling. It's a colorless gas, often formed during high-temperature combustion processes. Think about car engines or industrial furnaces. Those are prime breeding grounds for NO. Now, NO on its own isn't the biggest troublemaker. It's relatively unstable and doesn't linger for long in the atmosphere. However, it has a knack for transforming into something more potent. Enter nitrogen dioxide, or NO₂. As NO is released into the atmosphere, it reacts with oxygen in the air, almost like a chameleon changing its colors. This reaction creates NO₂, a reddish-brown gas with a pungent, slightly sweet odor. And unlike its less reactive sibling, NO₂ is a force to be reckoned with. It's a major component of smog, contributes to acid rain, and poses significant health risks even at low concentrations. You might be surprised to learn that NO and NO₂ are more common than you think. One of the biggest culprits is vehicle emissions. Every time a car, truck, or bus rumbles by, it's releasing these gases into the air we breathe. This is why monitoring NO and NO₂ levels is so important in areas with heavy traffic, like tunnels, parking garages, and even busy city streets. Beyond our daily commutes, NO and NO₂ are also significant byproducts of many industrial processes. Power plants, factories, and manufacturing facilities often release these gases as part of their operations. In these settings, where concentrations can be much higher, having proper ventilation and monitoring systems is absolutely crucial to protect the health of workers and the surrounding environment. So, we've talked about what these gases are and where they pop up, but why are we so concerned about them? Both NO and NO₂ can be pretty sneaky. They're invisible and don't have a strong smell, especially at lower concentrations. This means you might not even realize you're breathing them in. Reliable detectors act as our sensors in environments where these gases might be present. Think of them like an early warning system. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Even short-term exposure can irritate your respiratory system. You might experience coughing, wheezing, or a tight feeling in your chest. And if you have asthma, exposure can make it even harder to breathe. Prolonged exposure to higher concentrations can lead to serious respiratory problems. It can also impact our cardiovascular system, potentially contributing to heart disease. So it's not just about feeling breathless, it's about protecting our long-term health. And let's not forget about the environment. NO₂ is a major contributor to acid rain and smog. By reducing NO and NO₂ emissions, we're protecting ourselves and the planet. Okay, but how do we actually detect them? Well, thankfully, we've got some pretty clever technology on our side. Most detectors designed for NO and NO₂ use something called electrochemical sensors. These sensors are incredibly sensitive and can pick up even trace amounts of these gases. It all comes down to chemistry, really. When NO or NO₂ enters this chamber, it reacts with the electrolyte, creating an electrical current. The strength of this current is directly proportional to the concentration of the gas present. So, the higher the concentration, the stronger the electrical signal. It's a bit like magic, but it's science. Giving you a reading on the display. This reading is typically displayed in parts per million, or ppm, which tells you exactly how much of the gas is present in the air you're breathing. And the best part? Many of these detectors provide real-time monitoring, so you can see the gas levels changing as they happen. This is incredibly useful for identifying potential leaks or spikes in gas concentrations. Many detectors are designed to monitor both gases simultaneously. These dual gas detectors are particularly useful in environments where both gases are likely to be present, such as vehicle exhaust emissions or industrial processes. This way, you've got all your bases covered with a single compact device. When it comes to NO and NO₂ detection, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. The type of detector you need depends on your specific environment and the level of risk involved. Let's start with fixed detectors. These are permanently installed in locations where there's a constant potential for NO and NO₂ leaks or emissions. Think of them as the guardians of high-risk areas. You'll often find fixed detectors in places like industrial plants, manufacturing facilities, and even underground parking garages. They provide continuous monitoring, 24/7, ensuring that any dangerous gas buildups are detected immediately. And because they're hardwired into the building's electrical system, you don't have to worry about batteries running out at a critical moment. Now, on the other hand, we have portable detectors. These are the handy, pocket-sized devices that you can take with you wherever you go. They're perfect for personal use, especially if you work in environments where you might encounter NO and NO₂ intermittently. For example, if you're a firefighter responding to a fire, a construction worker entering a confined space, or even a mechanic working on a vehicle's exhaust system, a portable detector is your best friend. They give you that extra layer of protection, alerting you to potential hazards in real time. Plus, they're lightweight and easy to use, so you can focus on the task at hand without any hassle. Now that we understand the serious health risks associated with NO and NO₂, it's crucial to know what levels are considered safe. Thankfully, organizations like OSHA and NIOSH have established these limits to protect workers. These limits aren't just random numbers. They're based on extensive research and are designed to prevent both short-term and long-term health problems. Remember, these are just the legal limits. It doesn't mean exposure below these levels is entirely risk-free. It's always best to minimize your exposure as much as possible, and that's where reliable gas detectors come in. When it comes to NO and NO₂, it's important to remember they're not equal in terms of toxicity. NO₂ is far more dangerous, and the exposure limits reflect that. OSHA's permissible exposure limit for NO is 25 parts per million over an 8-hour workday. That might sound like a tiny amount, but for NO₂, that limit plummets to just 5 ppm. NIOSH, which focuses on recommending even safer exposure levels, sets an even lower limit for NO₂ at just 1 ppm. This significant difference highlights just how crucial it is to have detectors sensitive enough to pick up on even trace amounts of NO₂. NO and NO₂ detection isn't just for specialized industries. It plays a vital role in ensuring safety across a wide range of applications. Take emissions testing, for instance. Ever wondered how we make sure vehicles on the road meet environmental standards? NO and NO₂ detectors are essential tools for monitoring exhaust fumes and ensuring compliance. Similarly, in industrial settings like power plants, refineries, and manufacturing facilities, these detectors are crucial for detecting leaks, monitoring emissions, and preventing potentially hazardous situations. But it doesn't stop there. Think about welders working in confined spaces. The processes they use can generate significant amounts of NO and NO₂, making gas detection absolutely critical for their safety. Even seemingly mundane places like parking garages and tunnels rely on these detectors to maintain safe air quality, especially in areas with heavy traffic. By continuously monitoring for these harmful gases, we can ensure that workers and the public alike are protected from unnecessary exposure. Whether it's preventing a major industrial accident or simply ensuring a safe commute, the applications for NO₂ detection are far-reaching and incredibly important. Imagine a smoke detector that only goes off half the time. It wouldn't be very reassuring, would it? The same principle applies to gas detectors. To ensure your NO and NO₂ detectors are reliable, regular calibration is non-negotiable. Calibration essentially involves testing the detector against a known concentration of gas, ensuring its readings are accurate and trustworthy. It's like making sure a measuring tape is giving you the correct length. You wouldn't want to build a house with inaccurate measurements. Calibration is crucial, but it's only one part of the equation. Just like any other piece of equipment, gas detectors require regular maintenance to function optimally. This includes simple tasks like cleaning the sensors. Think of it like dusting your bookshelves. Dust and grime can accumulate over time, affecting the detector's performance. Regularly replacing worn-out components such as filters is also essential to ensure accurate readings and extend the lifespan of your equipment. By making calibration and maintenance a routine, you're not just protecting your investment in the detectors themselves, you're investing in the safety of everyone who relies on them. So we've talked about detecting these harmful gases, but what happens when those alarms actually go off? That's where the real magic of fixed detection systems kicks in. Their ability to not just monitor, but also to act. Imagine this. A sensor in a busy factory picks up a spike in nitrogen dioxide levels. Now, instead of relying solely on human intervention, which can be delayed, the fixed system springs into action automatically. It's like having a silent guardian constantly watching over the environment. This immediate response is crucial, especially in scenarios where even a short delay could potentially put lives at risk. Whether it's a sudden leak or a gradual build-up, these automated features work tirelessly to ensure a safe working environment. And the best part? This automation doesn't stop at simply raising a flag. Let's delve a bit deeper into the specific actions these systems can take to mitigate danger. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly, fixed systems can trigger alarms. These aren't your average, easily ignored sirens. We're talking clear, impossible-to-miss audio-visual warnings that alert everyone in the vicinity of the potential hazard. Think of it as the system shouting, "Hey, something's not quite right here." Secondly, these systems are often integrated with ventilation systems. Upon detecting elevated gas levels, they can automatically activate fans or adjust existing ventilation to increase airflow. This effectively dilutes the concentration of harmful gases, making the environment safe again. Thirdly, in situations where the source of the leak or emission needs to be immediately controlled, fixed systems can interface with equipment to trigger an automatic shutdown. This could mean halting a specific production process, or even shutting down an entire system. This combination of alarms, ventilation control, and equipment shutdown creates a comprehensive safety net, significantly reducing the risk of prolonged exposure and potential harm. We've covered a lot of ground in this journey, from understanding what nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide are, to exploring the sophisticated technology we use to detect them. But if there's one key takeaway I hope you walk away with, it's this. While these gases are invisible to the naked eye, their potential dangers are very real. Conducting emissions tests in a state-of-the-art facility, or carefully navigating the confines of a ship's hold, remember that knowledge is power. Understanding the risks posed by NO and NO₂ is the first crucial step towards mitigating them effectively. Thankfully, we're equipped with incredibly advanced tools, our trusty NO and NO₂ detectors, that act as our eyes and ears in these environments. They provide us with the critical information we need to stay safe, allowing us to make informed decisions and take appropriate action. It's also about proactive prevention, ensuring it's calibrated regularly and functioning at its best. Think of it like taking your car in for a regular service. It ensures everything is running smoothly and minimizes the risk of unexpected breakdowns. This involves providing comprehensive training to all personnel who might encounter these gases, empowering them with the knowledge and skills to identify potential hazards and respond swiftly and effectively. It's about looking out for yourself and your colleagues, ensuring everyone goes home safe and sound at the end of the day. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, never underestimate the importance of reliable NO and NO₂ detection systems. They are, quite literally, lifesavers. Well, that's a wrap. I hope this journey through the world of NO and NO₂ detection has been insightful and, dare I say, even a little bit empowering. Remember, knowledge is your shield, and a reliable gas detector is your sword. Together, you're an unstoppable force for safety. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more safety tips and fascinating insights into the world of gas detection. And as always, stay alert, stay safe, and keep those detectors calibrated.